Today we've been invited to the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, where we have the pleasure of talking with one of country music's living legends. So join us now in the Ford Theater with our very special guest, Cowboy Jack Clement. Well, Jack, it's an absolute honor to have you here today at the Ford Theater in Nashville at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you, Jack.
Oh, my dad used to call me Jack.
They did?
Didn't happen, no.
I'll call you Jackie.
All right. So I'm a singer-songwriter myself, and
Right.
so you were inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1973. And who are some of the people that you've written for?
When I started off at Sun Records, and most all of the artists that was on Sun at that time. Jerry Lee Lewis wrote songs for Johnny Cash, Sonny Burgess, Roy Orbison, a girl I was in love with named Barbara Pittman, Charlie Rich, I think I wrote some for him or with him. And Jerry Lee, I wrote the backside A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, or It'll Be Me.
Was it an impromptu recording session?
Well, we were doing a session with him, and we'd been doing this song I wrote called It'll Be Me. And I'm in there running the controls and everything, and I was getting tired of it, so I went out in the studio and said, why don't we get off this a while, Jerry? Let's do something else a while, and we'll come back to this later. And his bass player, who was also his cousin, and later became his father-in-law, said, hey, Jerry, do that song we've been doing on the road everybody likes so much. Okay. Let me turn the machine on. I went in and turned the machine on, sat there at the board, and they did A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On. It's the first time I'd ever heard the song.
Wow.
But that was the cut. That's the one you hear on the radio. One take.
Well, you also have a musical out right now, the $1 Million Quartet.
Yeah. We were doing a session with Carl Perkins. Sam was running the board on that one. And I was just in the control room with him. And I talked him into letting Jerry Lee Lewis play piano with him, because I was wanting to get Jerry Lee Lewis some work so he could stay around and be our piano player. And Johnny Cash, he was just invited there by Carl because they're buddies. And then Elvis came in toward the end of the thing. And Sam Phillips had gone next door to Taylor's Restaurant. I'm in the control room, and I remember I turned on a couple of knobs and stuck a tape on it, turned it on, and went back in and just let it run for about an hour and a half or something. It's just some tapes that sat around in the control room for several years, and then it became a legitimate record. Now it's a Broadway show. And that was what was called a $1 Million Quartet.
So you were one of the first producers for a major record label, RCA, here in Nashville.
I guess I was. I worked for Chet Atkins for a couple of years, I think.
That's right. And you brought Charlie Pride to the label.
I did, yeah. I had told Chet that I'm going to record this black fella, you know, Charlie Pride, and I'd let him have first crack at it. Well, I gave it to him, and it was a great record. Snakes Crawl at Night, still one of my favorites. And, you know, everybody loved it, and Chet loved it. He came back and said, we got a deal.
I did want to ask you about the Ring of Fire. You also produced a gold record on that one. And someone had a dream about the mariachi band.
That was Johnny Cash. My wife came in and said, Johnny Cash is on the phone. And he said he'd had a dream about it and heard these mariachi horns on it. And he wanted me to come to Nashville and produce it for him. So I did. I came up a week or so later and went in there, and there's these guys sitting there, these two horn players, and they didn't know what they were going to do. So and they had this blank paper, and I said, go dun 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 dun. They wrote that down. And I said dun 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 dun, and wrote that down. I took my J200 Gibson guitar and we cut it. It was a big hit.
Well, we have a guitar here.
Yeah?
You think you could strum us a little something?
I could do one about one called Gone Girl. She is deliciously tall, sort of a long girl. She is delightfully small, sort of a song girl. She freely admits to the world that she was a wrong girl. But that's nothing compared to the fact that she is a gone girl. like a knock on the door. Gone with yesterday and before, gone with the wind forevermore. La 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 la. Well, Jackie, you heard me mess one up. Why don't you sing us a song?
You looked so splendid there, all together there, fiercely elegant, like a man